Welcome in. This is Man Talk Mondays with yours truly, Josh Morin. I got a haircut. Call it getting my ears lowered. Call it a dad cut. Call whatever you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to call today's podcast. So thank you for joining in. Some eventful things happened over this weekend. I took my very first birthing course, probably my first and last birthing course. Maybe not my last, but definitely my first birthing course. And honestly, it was an incredible experience for myself. My wife, Jordan, she's been at the forefront, really pioneering this birthing process for us. And I've been learning as I go. I've been leading and learning. I've been reading as many books as I can with my time constraints. And I've been doing what I can as a father to best prepare myself for this next chapter of our lives. And that's what I want to talk about on today's podcast, is preparing yourself to become a father. Now, people ask me, am I nervous? Am I getting excited? What is going through my body? I am not nervous. I'm incredibly excited. But yesterday during the birthing course, something got brought up to me. A few things that got brought up to me that I want to share with you all is that as men, there's a lot of emotions that are going through our bodies, especially as you prepare to become a father. One thing that really rung and resonated with me is that no more, after this baby's born, it's no more just Jordan and I. It's not a two-person tribe. We're adding another person to our tribe. So it'll never just be Jordan and I anymore. It'll now be always having a third member of the tribe, which I'm incredibly excited about. But that means it's a new phase of our lives. And if you have children already and are having more children, you completely understand what this means. Is maybe you have one child and you're adding another. So it's no longer going to be a three or a trio. Now you're adding a fourth to the mix, a fourth to the tribe. I think it's very important if you and your wife or significant other are having your first child, that you go on a date and you sit down and you reminisce on this, you reflect on this situation, you speak with one another about what you're scared of, you speak with one another about what you're looking forward to adding a trio, and reminisce on some times that you've spent together without your child. As you enter this next phase, it's great to be excited, but definitely reflect on the times that you've spent together just one-on-one, and communicate with one another how things are going to change, but also communicate the commitments that you're going to make with one another regardless of the changes. Continue to date each other. Take your wife, take your significant other on dates. Continue to do things just together. If you have to spend a little time or a few hours away from your children, that's okay. Date while you have kids. Continually date each other. Continually show each other that you care. And this goes for if you're having your first child on the way. This goes for if you're having your second or third. You got to go back to the dance with the one that got you there. And when you do that, you start to realize how incredible this person was. And especially if you're becoming a father, how divine the situation is that your wife chose to be, or your significant other chose to be, a vessel to bring this offspring of consciousness into the world. How beautiful and truly divine is that situation, to really have the connection between two infinite beings, to then clone the best of you with years and years and generations and thousands of years of DNA and inherited traits and conscious evolution. I mean, how beautiful and how privileged are you as parents to have this opportunity to do this? Whether it be your first child, your second child, or your third child, I feel that it's a valuable asset for your relationship in the present as well as moving forward, to just do some reflecting on the time that you've spent as a duo or a trio, or if you've had multiple children and you're bringing in more children. I feel that it's a valuable asset to have conversations with your children, speaking about what's about to happen, saying, hey, mommy and daddy are going to be bringing in another life. You're going to have a baby brother or a baby sister. And this is what it's going to look like. I know our time with us three has been so valuable, and we honor you. And it's been so special to be able to see you grow in this capacity. But we're going to bring into another life, and we're all going to grow together. Regardless if your child is one or two or three, I think you could speak to them like this. Children aren't dumb. Speak to your children consciously, because I promise you, their conscious awareness is at a whole nother level. It's incredibly high. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, this goes directly out to the dads. Dads, you are required, you are important, and you are in a key aspect to your children's lives. But here's the deal. Your sole mission in life is not to be your child's pal or your child's buddy. That'll come later in life. What's required of you is to be a father. A father, not a pal or a buddy or a homie. A father. A father has a higher standard. If you're bringing in a son, your father is going to follow your footsteps on how you treat your significant other, how you treat their mother. They're going to follow exactly what you show them. So what role model are you being for your children? Are you showing them how to love the one that you're with? Are you showing them how to love their mother with just absolute gratitude, unconditional love? Are you showing them how to communicate effectively with women by communicating effectively with your significant other, their mother, your wife? What are you showing your sons? Are you showing them the path that you want them to follow? Or are you showing them a path that you don't want them to follow, but you're living that life? It doesn't work that way. If you want your children to be better than you got to be better men. You got to step into that position to lead. And if you're a dad out there bringing in a girl to this world, you're going to be the first man that she falls in love with. You're going to be the first man that she loves. So how are you going to treat this beautiful being that you brought into this world as you are her first love? As you are her first love, you now have to show her how men treat women, how a man should treat her. You have to now set the standard. You have to set the standard for her future relationships of how men should treat her. Man, growing up, one of my biggest fears was having daughters and having daughters date douchebags. Well, because I was one at one point. And here I'm in the situation that I can rewrite the script. I can break the cycle. That doesn't have to be my reality. I don't have to fear for that anymore because I can show my daughter, if that's what we have, I can show my daughter, even though I'm the first man that she loves, I can show her what a man should be able to do for her, what a man should have to step up and be for her, and be for himself ultimately is what it comes down to, and that she shouldn't settle for anything less. She should be able to have boundaries and confinements, and she should be able to look at different character traits and character flaws and be able to see exactly the partner that she deserves. I mean, this starts very, very young as those relationships become more conscious as they get older. But when your daughter's a child, you're going to show her by example. She's going to fall in love with daddy. You're the first man that she falls in love with. So what type of relationship do you have with your daughter? Are you a present father? Are you there for your daughter? Do you show up emotionally? Do you hear and listen and not just talk and tell and speak? What does this situation look like? You are going to be the first man that your daughter loves, and you're going to set the bar for her future relationships. So those are a few things on this morning podcast. Man Talk Mondays, baby. I learned a lot this weekend. It was incredibly valuable and vulnerable opportunity to connect with my wife, number one, our child, and other men around going through the same situation. And so if you're watching this, just know if you're a father, you already have children, or you're somebody that's in the position where you're about to have a child, or you want children in the future, you could always be a better man. And by you being your best self one day at a time, it's ultimately going to set you up, your children's lives up, the best possible. And that's really all that we can do. We cannot be perfect, but what we can do is be our best one day at a time. So with that being said, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you want to hear about on this Man Talk Monday. It's a beautiful blessing. We're cruising right along in January. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.